From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. Vice President Kamala Harris is closing in on her choice of running mate with the deadline fast approaching. Will Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro be her pick?
And Hurricane Debby making landfall along Florida's west coast. We're going to tell you about the biggest impact for people there. And Kate is tracking how the storm could impact our weather.
Meantime, today the heat and humidity will drop a bit, so get out and enjoy it because it looks like today will be the only dry day of the week. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the News at 7, streaming on CBS News Philadelphia and on Philly 57. I'm Jim Donovan.
And I'm Janelle Varell. Thanks for starting your Monday with us. And we are going to start with our next weather forecast. Meteorologist Kate Bilo joining us live from our virtual studio with a look at what we have in store for this week. Kate, good morning.
Good morning to you, Janelle and Jim. We've got a little bit of everything this week, from a hot, sunny summer day today to heavy downpours tomorrow, and then a cool stretch with highs only in the low 70s Wednesday and Thursday, followed by the threat of heavy rain from Debby. So a lot to get through. Let's start out with the quiet part of the forecast, and that is today. Outside the windows behind me, you can see it's brightening up nicely. The buildings taking on that golden hue as the sun really starts to shine across the region, and that's warming us up already. We did not drop below the mid 70s in Philadelphia, and we've already gained a degree here. It's 76 degrees right now. Here in Vineland, 73 degrees, and as we head over toward Wilmington right now, it is 72. Lancaster and Coatesville in the low 70s this morning. So not a bad start to the day, and it's actually going to get a little bit less humid as the day goes on. But we are starting off pretty high up on the muggy meter here. The current dew point is 71. That still keeps us in that soupy range. We're very familiar with that range. We were there all weekend long with the heavy downpours. Now we will feel the humidity drop just slightly this afternoon, and I mean slightly. We're going to drop back to dew points in the 60s, which is still humid, but it's not quite as bad. Then it steams up again. Tomorrow is very humid, and tomorrow night we'll have the chance for some scattered heavy thunderstorms, which could lead to the risk for flooding. So here's what to expect for the week ahead. We're starting the week hot and sunny. Tomorrow, a flood watch will go into effect at 5 p.m., continue into Wednesday morning for some heavy thunderstorms that'll knock down the temperatures, but then watching late week, especially Friday and Saturday, for some steady rain from Debby, possibly more flood watches to talk about through the end of the week. For us today, get outside and enjoy it. Slather on the sunscreen if you do. 93 degrees will feel hotter than that. It's probably the nicest beach day of the week as well if you're down the shore. Coming up, we'll have the latest on Debby and the impacts to our area. But for now, let's send it over to Chris for a check on your Monday morning traffic.
And traffic right now looking very heavy, heading around 95 on the southbound side between Cotman and Bridge. You're seeing stacked traffic. It is kind of opening up, then closing back down again. So again, if you're going to make that truck, you're going to definitely see stop traffic coming in on that southbound side. Also watch for a lane shift in the area as well. Coming in on the westbound side of around Belmont Avenue on the Schuylkill, we're seeing your delays as well. Trying to make your way up towards City Ave. If you're trying to head into the city at this point, you're looking good past Belmont, but you will see slowing as you approach the Vine. Speaking of the Vine, watch for traffic moving a little bit better now coming in on that westbound side up towards the Split. If you're travel seeking down towards Broad Street, we are definitely seeing delays at this point. Also, we're getting reports that the Tacoma-Palmyra Bridge is about to open very shortly, so keep that in mind as you're making your way out the door. Jim, over to you.
Thank you, Chris. We're following breaking news from overnight. Police are looking for a driver who struck a pedestrian in North Philadelphia, then left the scene. This happened just after midnight at 20th and Hunting Park Avenue. That's in Nicetown. The woman was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police have not released any information about the vehicle they're looking for.
All right, 7:03 now. As Kate has been telling us, Hurricane Debby has now made landfall in Florida with wind speeds up to 80 miles per hour. The tropical storm strengthening into a hurricane ahead of schedule last night. Now the storm is expected to bring historic rainfall along the southeast and could even impact the East Coast. Next weather meteorologist Kate Bilo is tracking Debby for us this morning and also has more about the potential impacts on our region. Well, our crews are monitoring what could be another frustrating day for travelers at Philadelphia International Airport. An unsettled and humid weekend in our region leading to storms, which meant cancellations and delays yesterday. And according to FlightAware, there were over 338 delays and more than 186 cancellations. We spoke with some travelers who say they had no choice but to deal with those changes.
I mean, you can't really do anything about it. You cannot be mad at the rain.
It's all good. It gives me more time out here to check out Philly.
Well, as of this morning, there are 32 delays and 49 cancellations at PHL. Ahead at 7:30, our Howard Monroe, he's going to join us live from the airport with the very latest.
We're close to finding out who Vice President Kamala Harris is selecting as her running mate.
That's right. And as we've been reporting for you, among the top contenders, Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro. That announcement could come as soon as today. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill joining us live from New York with more on that story. And this is certainly crucial to her campaign. Jared, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Janelle and Jim. Yeah, this is a huge decision that a presidential candidate usually has months to make, now crunched into just a few days. Over the weekend, reporters closely watched a string of cars going in and out of the VP's residence in D.C. as, again, she prepares to make this consequential choice. Vice President Kamala Harris faces a Tuesday deadline to pick her running mate. Harris met with prospects over the weekend, including Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
It's a perfect match because he can get the votes in Pennsylvania. Shapiro can get all the votes in Pennsylvania, and we can go ahead and win it.
United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain said on CBS Face the Nation that he hopes Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is the VP pick.
I just believe he brings a huge dynamic, and I believe a Harris and Beshear ticket would be unbeatable.
Once Harris reveals her choice, the newly minted ticket will set out on a 7-state battleground tour, starting in Pennsylvania, then heading to Wisconsin, Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. A new CBS News poll shows the percentage of Democrats who say they'll definitely vote has now risen to its highest point this year, with Harris improving enthusiasm among black voters and young voters, data points that have tightened the race. Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas says Harris has yet to be tested on the campaign trail.
I think we always knew this campaign was going to be a close race. But remember, she's only been the nominee for 2 weeks now. She hasn't answered a single question, not one single question by the media.
The CBS poll also shows more voters believe former President Trump's policies would decrease crossings at the U.S. southern border, as immigration remains a top issue for Republicans. Now, as far as a Trump-Harris debate goes, that is something that's still up in the air. The former president has pulled out of a September debate on ABC, claiming that when he agreed, Joe Biden was his opponent. Instead, he's now proposing a matchup on Fox. The Harris team says, though, that former President Trump is simply scared. Back to you.
All right, Jared Hill, we will see what happens as we lead up to that deadline tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you, Jared, reporting live from New York. And as all of you know, the political spotlight has been on Pennsylvania for campaign 2024. And like several other battleground states, Pennsylvania has had high turnover when it comes to local election workers.
Well, CBS News correspondent Jerika Duncan has learned that's a big concern for election officials.
Count every vote! Count every vote!
In 2020, the battleground state of Pennsylvania was ground zero for election protests, court challenges, and threats to election officials like Republican Al Schmidt.
You want to compare the results on all of those scanners.
He's a former Philadelphia commissioner who oversaw the city's elections. But these days, Schmidt has a much bigger role as Secretary of the Commonwealth, the top election official for the entire state.
What do you think is the greatest threat in 2024, this presidential election?
The turnover that we've seen with the people responsible for running elections. Some people left because of the ugly environment with threats and all the rest. Some people left because it was time for them to retire.
Across Pennsylvania's 67 counties, more than 80 senior election officials have left, impacting over 2/3 of counties.
Whenever you have people leave, people who have worked in elections for a long time and been replaced by people with less experience, the more likely you are to have people make mistakes in election administration.
An analysis of Pennsylvania's general election last year found an increase in ballot errors, in part due to turnover. Ballot errors doubled in the state's municipal general elections from 2021 to 2023.
These errors included instructions to vote for the wrong number of candidates, duplicate ballots being sent to the same voter, races or candidates being left off the ballot, improper ballot instructions and spelling errors.
So when you are running elections, there is no room for error, right? There's no redos or do-overs. But when it comes to the issues that you raised, in every one of the cases that you mentioned, there were remedial actions put in place to make sure that the results were accurate.
On the morning of November 6th, your hope is
When it comes to election administration, you never see a headline, Election Day went smoothly. And what I'd really love is to see a headline that went, Election Day went smoothly in Pennsylvania.
Jerika Duncan, CBS News, New York.
And stay with us throughout election season. When we're not on TV, you can always get the latest coverage online at cbsphiladelphia.com.
Philadelphia School District needs teachers for the upcoming school year. They are hosting a hiring event this morning. It runs from 10 until noon at the School District of Philadelphia's administration building that's in Spring Garden. School District especially needs special education and STEM teachers. Also happening today, a chance for kids to get vision screenings that they need ahead of the school year. The Eagle Eyes Mobile will be at the Lucien Blackwell Community Center. That's at 47th and Aspen Streets in West Philly. The event runs from 11:30 until 1 this afternoon. The service provides free eye exams and glasses to children in need.